Hi there, I'm Miss Jones, one of the English teachers at Tarporley High School. In this presentation, I'm going to go through what your English lessons will look like when you join Tarporley. We're all really excited to meet you. This is an overview of all of the different lessons you'll do in Year 7, 8 and 9 in your English lessons at Tarporley High School. You can pause the video here and look at them all in detail, and then I'm going to go through some slides in a second which gives you a bit of information about each of the units. In Year 7 and Year 8, over the 2-week timetable, students will have 7 lessons. 4 of those are core English lessons where you will study a range of reading and writing units. 2 of the lessons are centred on key skills such as spellings, comprehension, punctuation, grammar and revision over other literacy skills that complement the core programme of study. The final lesson is called Class Reader. This is where students will share a book with the class and teacher and read it together as a group. The first unit you will study when you arrive in Year 7 is The Mystery of Harris Burdick. This is a creative writing unit, and you will be producing your own creative work within the crime and mystery genre. Our Year 7 students really love this unit, and it's a great introduction to the genre for them. You will then move on to A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens in Year 7. This is lovely as we coincide it with Christmas, so you'll be studying it on the run up to Christmas, and you'll learn about Scrooge and all of his thoughts and feelings about Christmas and how those change over time. Next, in Year 7, you'll move on to the Literary Timeline unit. This is where you'll look at key writers from different periods of time, and you'll also zoom in onto the Gothic genre, and you'll produce a creative writing piece. Then, at the end of Year 7 and moving into Year 8, you'll study the poetry of William Blake. This is a reading unit, and this will be your first introduction to poetry at high school, where you're writing your own poems but also analysing Blake's key works. Next up in Year 8 is Refugee Boy. This is a reading unit, and you'll be learning about the life of a refugee and how they're settling into the UK. It's a really interesting unit, and students do get a lot out of it. Then you move on to a speech writing unit in Year 8, which is called Standing on the Shoulders of Giants. You'll look at some excellent speeches from throughout time, and then you'll write your own speeches and you'll practice saying these aloud in lesson. You'll then study Shakespeare's famous play Macbeth. I'm sure you've heard of this before. It's a very, very famous play. And you'll learn about the Gothic genre through this. You'll also learn about what it means to be a king. You'll learn about the Jacobean era, and students really love studying this unit. Then at the end of Year 8, moving into Year 9, you'll study The Crucible by Arthur Miller. This is a really interesting play, and it shines a light on American history and some of the key events that occurred. You'll then progress to study in Year 9 the 21st Century Teenager unit, which is a writing unit. In this unit, you'll be writing articles and speeches about issues that impact students today. Then in Year 9, you'll study Diversity and Unheard Voices unit, which is a reading unit. In that unit, you'll look at different extracts and speeches and poems from a range of diverse voices across the world, and then you'll be analysing them and writing about them. At the end of Year 9, you'll start reading 1984 by George Orwell. Again, this is a really famous and important novel, and students learn about what it means to live in a society where you're often under surveillance and how that impacts you. And then the final unit you study in Year 9 before you start your GCSEs is the Love and Mirrors unit. This is a reading and writing unit where you look at some universal themes that will come up in your GCSEs, and it prepares you for that. So that's your Key Stage 3 curriculum explained for you, a whistle-stop tour. I am going to touch on the GCSE now, but obviously this isn't for a few years for you. So just to give you a little bit of information about some of the texts that you'll do and what your GCSEs are. But you will obtain 2 English GCSEs at Tarpley. The first one is English Language, the second one is English Literature, and they are both 100% examination. We are on the AQA exam board. So for English language, you'll obtain 1 GCSE and it's 2 exams. Both exams are 1 hour 45 minutes and both exams are divided into 2 sections. Section A assesses your ability to read and Section B assesses your ability to write. You'll be reading and analysing unseen texts for both exams, and everything that you've done in Key Stage 3 will help you prepare for these. We then have English literature. Again, it's one GCSE, two exams. The first exam is 1 hour 45 minutes. The second exam is 2 hours and 15 minutes. The first exam is on Romeo and Juliet and Frankenstein's, two great texts that you'll study at your GCSEs at Tarporley. And your second exam will either be on an Inspector Calder's Lord of the Flies, and the Power and Conflict poetry and unseen poetry. So as you can see, a lot of the units that you'll be doing at Key Stage 3 will help to prepare you for the text at GCSE. And finally, I just want to mention some of the extracurricular things we do with the English department at Tarpley. First of all, we have our own magazine, which is called Half Term Magazine, where students can contribute to the magazine, they can take pictures, they can write articles. We also get involved with the Cheshire Schools Book Awards. We have many writing competitions, and every student at Tarpley has the opportunity to become a published writer. We also do theatre trips, and we have a school library, so you can become a member of that. So they're just some of the extra things that we do. I'm really grateful that you've listened to this video, and I'm really excited to meet you in September when you join us at Tarpley. If you need any information about the English department, do not hesitate to contact the school. Thank you.